Well, good evening, Speed Gaming 2 viewers. My name is Tiru. I am so glad to welcome to you all to what, unless this is a freak tie, will be the final race between NYRambler and Hacksaww, and also the final race of the group phase, the 128-player group phase. 63 players have already been decided. This race determines which of these guys will be number 64. And they will be joining Rywek, who is also one of the 63 that are already qualified, and my co-com for this evening. How are you, Rywek?
Hi, Tiru. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. I had a little bit of Zelda withdrawal over no restreams the last 2 days.
Well, that's the holidays for you.
That's the holidays. There's people that they do traditional things like visiting family, but I'd much rather hang out with the Randomizer community than my family members. So this is a nice treat for me.
Well, we consider you part of our family.
Exactly. This is the family I chose.
Yeah. So
well, this
game 3, eh?
Yeah, this is game 3, and we are. Much to my own disappointment, using the default settings. Open.
What happened?
Ganon 7-7. None of that glorious map compass shuffle. We're just using the basics, just like game 1. No fun.
Well, since Hacksaww did win game 1, NYRambler did choose to switch it over to Fast Ganon, but after losing, Hacksaww decided to, you know what, let's get rid of that Fast Ganon. I don't want that happening again.
That would be a good strategy. I mean, that is the whole point of letting the loser pick. I haven't seen Hacksaww play too much recently. I did a co-com with Rambler, and I know he was pretty nervous about coming into this game 3. I don't know if his nerves have calmed down a bit, but I imagine both of these runners, game 3, elimination, especially being the last game of groups, they've got to be feeling that all eyes are on them.
I mean, no pressure, please, no pressure.
Of course.
Yes, absolutely. I constantly feel the pressure when I race myself. And game 3, like you have all these eyes watching you, and like the number of people viewing in chat is just growing right now. Just to see the last game of groups. And already from the get-go, like in this seed, we got our Kana Samaria, and I'm never happy seeing Kana Samaria early. That's just promising you Turtle Rock, right? I mean, it's promising something trolly.
Yeah, well, it's better than having Kana Samaria and Misery Mire, of course, which is always the troll location for the Kane. I like the Houlihan room. This is one of my favorite rooms. Rambler not going to check the tile and let us know who won the last couple tournaments. Probably doesn't want to spoil it once it's his name to be on the tile.
Yeah. See, personally, I'm not a big fan of visiting the Houlihan room, especially in an open like this, because there's so many opportunities to get some coin anyway. But who knows? Maybe this is the time that, oh hey, we're not going to get anything. But Hacksaww did find 7 bombs over in Lost Woods. We also got an early map check as soon as both exited the Sanctuary. So we had Green Pendant at Eastern Palace and Crystals at Desert Palace in Tower Hera.
It's definitely nice to get some crystals in the light world. The Green Pendant Eastern is obviously vanilla Eastern, and if we find the bow and we can complete that dungeon, that's an extra item that we can turn in very quickly. And if we don't find the bow, then it's a quick dip that we can always bail out of. So it's always appealing to find Pendant Eastern, I think.
It's true. I know that if you find the bow, in Kakariko, even South Shore, pendant or no pendant, Eastern's getting done. And unfortunately, NYRambler saw the race game, which was a sword, but he doesn't have the bombs to go get it. And we also had the cape in the library.
Cape in the library, probably not going to need to get that unless we need an item on Bumper Ledge, or God forbid that's our Aga Tower access. But backtracking to get that sword, that's going to be a little bit of a time loss for Rambler. Hacksaww having the bombs and doing the north to south route is going to come out ahead this particular Kakariko.
Yeah, nothing too good so far for Hacksaww. Just 2 bottles so far. But at least he'll be able to check Sick Kid. NYRambler, on the other hand, if he does go do blindside, then comes back down, we'll be able to check Sickit on his way to go get his sword.
Ooh,
and there's the bow.
bow.
So you know what's gonna happen. They're gonna go do Eastern. That's still 4 items very early. I can't see any possible reason, unless the seed really opens up, that they wouldn't be going to do Eastern soon.
And there's also our book. So that's our Desert Palace access. Obviously, without the glove or the a fire source, we can't get to the back. But this seed is kind of saying it wants us to do the Light World dungeons earlier rather than later.
Yep.
And these players can definitely do the dark rooms. So Eastern's not going to be an issue. Desert, they need the fire source for progression, and they may need the boots, but we're not going to know for quite a while.
True, but required or not, both our runners are going to want to see those boots.
Absolutely. Boots, and particularly if you get Flute and Kakariko, that's kind of the dream. Just being able to just get everything done and open up all those mobility options.
Mm-hmm.
I think the most joy that you ever see in a player is when they can flute away from the race game check instead of having to save and quit.
Yep. Well, we know the book's not going to get used very soon without at least a glove and a fire source, because that's just no way to be able to finish Desert. You may be able to get one single item and perhaps a second on the Desert ledge. I'm not sure that's worth that whole trek to get to Desert.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. We would basically have to have checked everything else and last location Desert. Hacksaww not going for the YOLO play, checking that, doing the backtrack of shame. This is what I see this as.
Oh, and he misses his first bomb. That's okay. This is fine. It's not as if we're short on bombs or anything.
It's a spike throw. Just brother versus you kill one brother, the other one inherits the entire house. Problem solved.
That is one way to solve a dispute, but I do not recommend this. So, kids at home, get along with your siblings.
Yeah, I don't really think inheritance works that way. There's something with the police in the middle of that step. But early pedestal check, just cash. And we are going to move along as instructed.
If it was something really good, like knowing that information from the start of the seed could be vital. It could be the difference between finishing a pendant dungeon or not. But since it's nothing, well.
Yeah, that makes a lot of difference, particularly with that, pendant Eastern that we can, clear technically out of logic. Mm-hmm. Knowing that we don't have to, if we find all 3 items early on, we can just gamble that we don't need the green pendant, and that's quite a bit of a time save.
Yep.
Rambler has that knowledge, and Hacksaww doesn't.
So, NYRambler is still going on. I'm not sure where he's going to head to next. He not looking like he's going to go check Lumberjack. He might be heading back into the village, cross it just to go get that sword.
Yeah, Rambler seems to be kind of giving us the scenic tour. I mean, we got to see Houlihan, we got to see the pedestal. Mm-hmm. Hacksaww, he's just going for items.
Yep. Going for density, going for whatever is quickest to get done.
Looks like Hacksaww is making this Eastern play. Like you said, might find that we're stuck and not able to go too far, but maybe this is some really key progression. I wouldn't be surprised if Rambler just maybe does the South Shore stuff with his focus on prioritizing some of these overworld locations a bit.
For Hacksaww, the going to Eastern, I think that's for him. I think that's right. For his playstyle, it just seems so natural. You get the bow, you go do Eastern, especially this early. Rambler does seem like more all-rounder, so yes, I think he would go to South Shore, but we'll see. We'll see after he gets that sword.
That's always nice to for us as viewers to be able to see different routing options, so we get some extra knowledge, and we get to sit back here and tell people what they should have done rather than what they actually did. The saying, those who can't play, commentate.
Those who can't play, commentate? What am I doing here?
Well, As soon as I said that, I was like, oh wait, he's top 64. Maybe I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
Sorry. No offense.
Some taken, but that's okay.
Fair enough.
So yeah, as we predicted, Rambler heading over to South Shore. Hacksaww finding not too much over in Eastern. I mean, if you don't play, you commentate unless you're Wyrick. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I can accept that.
Mhm.
I played in spring of last year where everybody was guaranteed to play and you didn't have to do
Yes.
qualifiers.
Yeah.
Once we got qualifiers, I just wasn't good enough. But there's a lot of items here on the South Shore. Obviously, the 2 at the dam. We get to see 5 in the mini Moldorm cave. And then either Ice Rod Cave or potentially Genus Cave, if he's very thorough.
Well, it all depends, really, because you just named 7 items, but Hacksaww also is going to see 7 items, because those 3 at Sarasota, 3 in Eastern, and 1 for the Green Pendant.
That's a good point.
It's about the same, but...
if he clears it all, yeah.
Yeah, it is much quicker to do South Shore than it is to do Eastern, though. But if there is something Eastern, Hacksaww will have that early advantage.
Normally, it's safe to say, like, Eastern, it's a little bit of a gamble whether you go in there. South Shore, everyone's going to get here eventually, especially with the Moon Pearl being here in Mini Moldorm Cave and the Fire Rod.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he decides to skip out on Ice Rod Cave, which is okay. Fire Rod, let's see, depending on the placement of the big key, might put Armhost in logic.
Yeah, the big key was not Fire Rod locked. We just saw the vanilla big key chest there on Hacksaw's side, and it was one of our 3 items, a big 20. So yes, that does absolutely put
Armhost
in logic. With version 31, if you can light a torch in a dark room, you can clear that dark room.
Mm-hmm. He should have picked up that little piece of magic there. That's okay. So Rambler decided to go directly into Eastern, skip South Rally. He knows he's going to be back there after he full clears the dungeon.
Absolutely. He's definitely committed to the full clear, plans to turn in that green pendant either way.
Yep.
And Hacksaww doing a very nice job getting through that dark room. Only had 4 hearts. Not trivial with this little health, but didn't take any damage or either picked up a heart very quickly. It's not the hardest room, but it's definitely tricky.
Well, depending on how you set yourself up, you can actually be pretty safe. If you're feeling nervous after taking a hit or 2, you can always back out, go get a fairy after you drop down into one of those pots, and then try it again.
Set up nicely for the fast armor skill, but takes a couple hits there. Technically, this happened before I spoke.
The seed knew you would be commentating, and you would utter those words, and oh! But,
well, karma isn't bound by linear time, so that makes sense.
Okay. Yes. Right. Karma. So we do obtain the green pendant for Hacksaww. This might be the key item they need to be able to progress. Or it might not, and it might have been a complete waste of time. But we won't know until we turn it into that old man.
It was one of Einstein's lesser-known theories regarding the curvature of space-time and karmic, payback. It's a deep dive.
Oh, and only 10 arrows for that green pendant. So no progression in Eastern Palace.
Well, that's interesting. We don't have Zora access logically without the mitts. So we can roll that out. We still have Ice Rod Cave and his Genus Cave. If we find the mitts in Desert, that would let us do the back of Desert as a full clear.
No. Progression most likely gonna be Escape.
And all of Escape, which I completely forgot about.
Yeah. But who knows? Since Hacksaww did not find anything in Eastern, he might very well go to Ice Rod Cave, and since he will obtain the Pearl, he might go ahead and go do Waterfall Fairy. a sequence break, but it could be paid. Could be worth it. NYRambler down to his last heart here. Ooh! Takes a death on an anti-fairy. Ouch. He had his potion ready too.
Yeah, at least you're still in the dungeon.
Yeah, but that's a long way to go back.
Hacksaww about to pick up that moon pearl. If he continues on, and decides to do fake flippering, the moon pearl does open up the 2 waterfall fairy items.
Yes, absolutely. If he can kill that last Moldar, and there we go. There's the moon pearl. Here comes the fire rod. No, there.
I love those. I love that Stalfos room. Just killing the enemies before they even respawn. It's just joyful to watch.
Yep. For those who are viewing this for the first time, I'm sure there aren't too many because everybody loves this game. If you were to place yourself where Stalfos would spawn on an object or wall, they just won't spawn. So you can trigger the spawn and only have 2 of the 4 actually pop up.
Yeah, it's one of the easiest early tricks to learn, and if you mess it up, then you just kill the Stalfos. So it's very, very low risk. But Rambler is doing a dark room that is technically out of sequence, and we know this just blocks the red rupee, so no big deal. But there's no torches in there for him to light, so that's one thing to keep in mind, that he did have to do those dark. Hacksaww, as we just saw, picked up the Quake medallion. That's our first of the 3 medallions, which may or may not be required.
Who knows? We don't know what our penance are in the Dark World. If it happens to be both Misery Mire and Turtle Rock, well, I guess it won't be required at all unless there's progression there.
Yeah, interesting over on Rambler's side. Killed all the enemies in this room rather than doing the typical damage boost skip into the anti-fairies.
Well, it might mean that he's less confident in the next room because he's trying to conserve his hearts.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you normally only come in here with green mail and 4 hearts, and that is an easy place to die. So being a little extra safe, while Hacksaww doing the fake flipper, giving us our first hobo check. As far as we know, this is out of sequence.
Yes.
We haven't found the flippers.
And we get a big old red rupee. Considering there's so many red rupees and chests in this game, you'd think that they're worth less than green rupees, which there's only 2 in the game.
Yeah, there's 6 of the 300s. They're technically green.
That's okay. You got me there.
So unfortunately, Rambler, he's already committed to this full clear. But we know there's just 10 hours on this green pendant. Yeah. And that green pendant is otherwise worthless in this particular seed. So from what we know, this is all wasted time at this point.
Yeah, he still has to do the back of Sasserella at the same time. So there's that. There's nothing there, but there's that. And Hacksaww got a heart piece, which means it refilled his hearts and reset him into fake flippering mode. So he has to go back out and come back in. NYRambler succeeds in doing a very quick kill of Armos. Not the quick kill, but a very quick kill.
That's hilarious. When you get the heart refill, it just dumps you in the water. It doesn't care. This is just a check of the ledge. 10 arrows. We don't have enough Zora money, and even Rambler, who did Houlihan, we just haven't seen any 100s or 300s yet. So we're a little bit light on cash. Usually we find at least one 300 by this point.
Yep. So Hacksaww deciding, oh, you know what? Time for desert. I'm just a glove away from finishing it anyway. Maybe I'll find it in there. Otherwise, I'll find out if it's boost lock too.
Yeah, it's good intel. I think that there's still some reluctance to maybe. Never mind.
Of course, there's reluctance to escape. You want to keep escape for last. because escape is the last thing you do before you go do Aga 1. You don't even they don't have the items yet to do Aga 1 either, but odds are you might find.
I was saying like maybe there's reluctance to do escape without the lamp, just because those dark rooms are maybe a little bit less common, and you don't really know all the torch locations.
But once again, advanced logic, they are in play. That Dark Cross chest, you can get there. There are torches the entire way through.
Yeah, but who knows where they are?
I do.
I don't. I think basic logic on my festive seed.
So NYRambler going for the same play. Neither choosing to do Agahnim first. Personally, if I were to go into Desert Palace without the boots and without a fire source, I would check Agahnim first. That would save me a tiny trip, potentially.
That makes sense. I think that they could potentially be thinking that they're going to find that their boot's locked and then have to exit the right side of the temple, which puts them at a nice location for Gina's cave.
Well, we know that desert is not boots locked with that compass over on the torch.
Yeah, we will be able to do this, and this actually works out really well for Hacksaww. Like I said, they'll be able to get the 2 items on the right-hand side, and assuming that there's no progression, just
there is.
We can definitely get the chests,
Yeah.
but assuming there's no progression, we can very quickly get to a Gina's cave using the southern exit.
Yes. But what if there's a glove and a map?
No, you're right. I mean, there's
a chance. There's a chance.
Well,
but it's a heart piece.
Well, basically, what we have to do is we have to see what it is, and then we can say what the right choice was.
And a map. Okay, so heart piece and a map. Land Molas has the last item.
This is looking very much like the progression is going to be an escape at this point, because I don't put any weight on it being at a Gina. It's never at a Gina.
Yeah. I mean, there's 8 items in escape if you count the sanctuary item. There's a map and a small key, so there's 6 items left in there.
It would be it's actually pretty interesting if the progression is in the back of escape, because normally you see players with the glove take the shortcut. There's our boots.
There's the boots.
Not necessarily progression though. That only opens up the bonk rocks at this point.
No, but we might see Hacksaww check out Lumberjack now that he does have the boots. See if Agahnim is going to be required or not.
Well, that will also let us get the cape, which gives us Aga access without the Master Sword if we do find that lamp.
That's true. That's true. The cape is in the library. And there's some flippers for all the flipper checks that Hacksaww already did. Well, except for Zora.
Yeah, it's at least you can logically, just say I did them now and not have to keep track of it, despite it not having anything of value. So Agahni's cave was all the progression.
Yeah. And we have a bee in a bottle over at Lumberjacks. Hacksaww saving and quitting. Let's see if he does go to the library to pick up that cape, though.
That would be a reasonable play, because you're going to go to escape next, and if you find the lamp but not a sword, you're going to want to be able to jump right into the tower. But he's going into escape first.
Look at this. NYRambler. Awesome. Remembering that the pools are connected between right next to the Sanctuary and right next to Ice Rod Cave, this is a great moment to be able to go check out that Ice Rod Cave and obtain that Quake Medallion.
Yeah, it's very efficient routing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, unfortunatately, with the flippers, you really can't do any of the... Can you buffer a water walk with the flippers?
Yes, of course. You can walk on water with the flippers.
Oh.
So
Did not know that.
NYRambler just set up the water walk. So to do that, you have to have the boots and to run across a ledge while going down. After that, you just have to go down to jump into water, not from any other direction. And there you are. You're walking on water. Nothing can break that, by the way. You can bonk, you can touch an enemy. It doesn't matter. It won't break your walk on water until you actually hit the water.
Yeah, I for some reason I thought you couldn't do this with the flippers, but this is probably the quickest way to do the hobo check because it's so far out of the way. So I do love doing that, and it just looks so cool.
I honestly think what would have been a little bit better is if you had gone to the waterfall cave to do this and maybe check that ledge item before doing hobo, because now he has to swim all the way from hobo to that water spot. And once he goes into the waterfall cave, he still doesn't have his walk on water anymore. So it'll be walking.
That's a fair point. Hacksaww picked up that cape and is now in the escape sequence. So if we find the lamp here, he will have the items that required to get into the tower for the Agahnim play.
And somebody, as they're pointing out, yes, you're absolutely right. As soon as I said it, I did remember. As soon as you touch shallow water, you do lose your water walk, if you have flippers.
Cool.
Ooh,
so
look at what Hacksaww is doing. This is interesting. He's going to steal the key to go to the back of escape. Interesting.
So why don't you take a minute and just explain this key logic? Because I tried to once and I messed myself up on it.
Well, anytime for the key logic, you see where Hacksaww decided to do a death warp. That is the last spot that a key can be. It can't be any deeper. It can't be in Zelda's cell, and it can't be in the where the boomerang usually is, the vanilla boomerang. So the key can never be there. If you steal that key, you get to go check out all the other key locations, so you can get all the way to the back of escape, because the key's going to be certainly back there, probably, if it's not in Dark Cross. So this is a smart play on his behalf. He won't get locked out, no matter what. He will be able to check every single item. So see.
So what confuses me though is if he goes down the Zelda cell, I mean, and that has an item, then that guarantees that the key would have been in Dark Cross. So he still isn't locked out.
If you went down all the way to Zelda's cell, he would not be able to check the back of escape right now, because the key, the small key, can only be in the Dark Cross, the back of escape, or the first chest on your way down to Zelda's cell. So if you steal that key, you can go check out everything.
All right. Well, in that case, though, there wouldn't have been any progression back here because you wouldn't have been able to get to it.
It could be progression. It's just currently mitts locked. Oh, glove locked. But
right.
It was just a little hard.
Exactly.
So not particularly. This might take a while, Hacksaww. He was trying to do another death warp, but considering that mice do quarter of a heart damage, it would take a while. So it says saving quick. He's coming back though.
Bombs still do one full heart of damage, but you don't want to waste all your bombs.
Mm-hmm. It's looking right now that it is going to be an Agaseed. I mean, you do have your sword, you have your cape, plus once you get to the Dark World, you've got your flippers and your hookshot to be able to get to the West Dark World. So Rambler not stealing the key, he will not gain access to the back of escape. Which isn't so bad because it really only contained a key, a map, and a heart.
Yeah, and Hacksaww is, before going to Aga, just finishing off the Zelda cell check here. This could still be an item, a progression item.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's still 2 items here. We found the map, we found the key, so there's still 2 items. It could be progression. Hey, if they're super lucky, it'll be like hammer and gloves. It's not the case. Maybe there's gloves in Zelda's cell. If there are, that would probably make them go up the mountain. Out of logic, but they will do it.
Absolutely. If you're this close to just checking these last 2 locations, you don't really want to do an Aga.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Well, actually, there has to be progression either here or at Zora because they still don't have a lamp. And lamp is required to do Aga 1.
Oh, yeah, you're right. And not a vanilla lamp. Okay.
Huh.
So that means lamp or something else on Zora?
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, interesting.
Zora is the answer. But
So
Rambler deciding I'm going to do Aga in the dark.
Ooh, well,
He is a brave man.
Yeah, so it's worth pointing out that this is not in logic because not every one of these dark rooms has torches. The more difficult ones do, but this is technically a sequence break without the lamp. But he might be assuming that the lamp is on Zora at this point and just
Anything
saying,
could be on
I'll get it later.
Yes. Truly, honestly, Zora could have a multitude of things. And by multitude, I mean 3.
Yeah, given what you've seen though in this seed, maybe he thought he had the lamp and didn't. I don't know.
It's possible he may have decided. You know what? I've calculated logically what could be at Zora and decided I'm gonna go do it. Especially after obtaining those 300 rupees on their way to Zelda's cell. That's just the money they need to go do Zora.
Well, I mean, it could be like you were saying. It could be the flute, and then we hook shot across, and we get all the Death Mountain items. But just based on getting the cape as early as we did, I'm feeling a lamp. I'm just feeling it.
Once again, it could be one of 3 items: a glove, a lamp, or a flute. That's about it.
I'm ready to the lamp. Come on, lamp.
Glove. Lamp.
Oh.
You and your love of lamp has won. So this force is an Agahnim for both our players.
Oh, that's great. And they're basically, I think they both checked all the same. I mean, Hacksaw's done backup escape at this point, but other than that, they've done everything else.
That's right. They've both done the same checks. Yeah. And it'll be a bit quicker for Rambler to do the back of escape if he does find the gloves. It depends on if he decides to go through the Dark Cross right now, which you would get a heart piece, which would cost him a bit of time, but honestly, anything to avoid Aga, but...
Yeah, I think he's committed to Aga at this point.
We'll see. Committed to Aga.
So it's usually hard to say 30 minutes in who's ahead, but here we can clearly say neither player. I mean, they're a minute apart.
Mm-hmm.
And both players using fire rods for these chain guards. One-shot kill, very efficient.
Yep.
They do have arrows, but I think they take 8 arrows.
Yes. If I recall. Maybe not. Maybe only 4.
Well,
not entirely sure. It makes sense if it was 4.
Well, there's 2 of them. That's 8 total.
Oh, 8 arrows. Okay, fine.
Was that a convincing save? I don't know.
Question from the chat. What happens if we have a tie? Well, we have another race. It's just how it happens.
If we have... So right now, the entire admin team is just waiting to update their spreadsheets because they love their spreadsheets.
Yeah, actually, you're not actually wrong there because we do have our spreadsheets open and we're like, just waiting. Yeah, just waiting.
They're waiting to push that button. This is calculate brackets, and they're all going to be really, really sad. But we're going to be really happy because we're going to get another race.
Nice on Hacksaww for using the hook shot to get that key. I love that. Like you'd think it's only the boomerang, but no, you can do that with the hook shot. And Rambler getting a lucky drop on magic, so good on him. But taking a long way to get that small key. Now, nothing can go wrong here, right? We're going into Aga with 2 hearts. Nothing can go wrong, right?
Well, I don't know what the bottles are. I mean, do they have a fairy or a potion in there? I think they have a potion.
I think Rambler uses red potion, but Hacksaww has not.
Using a potion in an Aga 1 fight, though, it feels like, I mean, I'm not going to say like you should be penalized for it, but you definitely should be shamed for it.
You should. Well, you're definitely being penalized because you're losing your red potion. Also, you're losing time for consuming it. But no matter what, you're losing less time than coming back.
And you're losing credibility, which is, the most important thing.
See, I also love Hacksaw's placement when it comes to Aga 1. You always want to try, at least try, to get Aga 1 back to the center of the room. That will accelerate his going to wherever he's going next teleportation.
Yeah, you see, like Hacksaww getting into the left side of Aga right now, so he knocks him back to the center.
So it's a
How
little
much you
less
can do when he's on the bottom, though?
No, or in a corner. It's difficult.
He did take half a heart of damage, so he can only take 3 more hits.
If you get hit by lightning, though, oh!
Yeah, I know, it's so hard. You just have to stand behind him.
So we do have our standard number of blue balls for Aga, which is 3. It's the average.
And Hacksaww first to be in the Dark World, so we get like an extra credit point for that. Anything on the pyramid? The Master Sword.
That's pretty.
Alright, well, the cape was useful for getting into the tower to get the Master Sword.
Yep. And Hacksaww decided, you know what, I'm not going to pod. This is excellent. He's swimming over under the broken bridge to cross and come back to hookshot across. I approve of this.
I disapprove of this because
you disapprove. You think you should be
stuck
going
on
to
all
pod?
the rocks, and he has the boots.
What? And he has the boots, so
you could just run up there. But we saw
run up there. How?
Oh, you know what? That's the. All right,
they have no mitts. They have no gloves, no mitts, and no hammer.
I was thinking he was just running up the catfish, but you're right. No boots. I'm sorry, no mitts. My bad.
Yep. Yeah, he can't go up to catfish. Ouch! Rambler gets hit by a bird. Takes up 3 hearts. Got to be careful. And look at that. There's our second pair of gloves. Not our first, our second pair of gloves. Because we can't even get those without getting our first pair.
That is awesome. And like Hacksaww kept trying to lift that rock.
I mean, that's what you want to do. You see an item, you want to go get it. But in this specific circumstance, that is the second pair of gloves.
I feel like I'm personally offended by that because I just said that we were done with the cape having any value.
Oh, that's true.
And it's on freaking Bumper Ledge.
And we did get a map check. So we have a pendant pod, and a pendant turtle rock. So at least we won't be looking for that ice rod. So there will be no trolley ice rod, chat. No trolley ice rod. Unless there's an item on Trinex. Oh, why did
I was just going to say.
Why?
We were talking about karma.
But yeah.
I don't know. I mean, which of our, we could have the flute could be on Trinex. Mirror could be on Trinex. I mean, it's possible that there's required progression on Trinex.
Lots of different things. Hacksaww decided I'm going to do Mothula right away. Not scared one bit. Only has 2 hearts. Master Sword. I mean, it's very doable. Scary. Doable. Scary.
Yeah, Hacksaw's approach of face tanking all the enemies it's been interesting.
Yeah, in this case, he won't be able to face tank Mothula because 2 hits and he did. So if you touch Mothula, actually, there is a good strategy depending on the mail you have. If you have green mail, make sure if you're about to get hit by either Mothula or a spike, get hit by the spike if you have green mail. Spikes do 1 damage. If you have blue mail, doesn't matter. You can get hit by either one. If you have red mail, get hit by Mafia before the spike hits you, because once again, Mafia will only do a half a heart of damage, but the spike will still do 1. Lots of math.
Yeah, that is definitely a good damage conservation strategy. I also liked Hacksaww knocking the mummy into the spikes there. For enemies, the spikes do gold sword damage. So that's, if you have the fighter sword, a very efficient way to knock them out quickly.
Yeah. Well, except for Mafia. If you hit him into the spikes, he takes no damage.
Which is technically vanilla gold sword damage.
And no issues for Hacksaww. He did consume his green potion to be able to fire more fire rod shots, but that's about it.
So both of the players making really interesting choices. Hacksaww clearing Skullwoods, fully clearable with the fire rod. Not a lot of items here. A lot of items in Palace of Darkness, and Pod is a pretty intuitive dungeon to check as soon as you get Dark World access. We can full clear this except for getting to the boss. With it being a pendant, that means you're only leaving 1 item behind.
Why does Rambler have 0 keys left?
I don't think he did right side.
If he didn't, okay. But if he did, and there's 0 keys right now, there is one possibility that there could be a small key here, and that's if the hammer is around here too. But it's not going to be. So he must not have done right side.
I think he's coming in here just to, grab as many items as he can, with the intent, obviously not planning on coming back here again. Although doing the death warp here, is there any reason to check right side, or it's probably just going to be keys?
It's going to be 1 key and 1 something. I don't know if you found the map yet. If he's going back, it must be an item right now. Otherwise, yeah, there's no point. You're preparing yourself for later. So, okay, so he did find the map. All right. Yeah, he does have all items. So there's 1 item left on the right side.
All right. Well, and unless this is the hammer, we're done with Palace of Darkness, and he's going to have to get over to East Dark World and follow Hacksaww.
But this could be what the bow was indicating over in Kakariko Village. Who knows? This could be the 1 item.
I think it's a good play. I mean, just on good item density and gambling that your opponent isn't going to dip into pendant pod. There's a mirror.
Oh, and there it is. That's what it was. So the boat did unlock an item. That was the mirror, baby.
All right. Well, that was a very, very worthwhile pod play.
Yep.
I'm assuming he did mean to stay in the Dark World.
Yes. I mean, there's not much you can check in Light World right now.
Yeah,
even with the mirror. There's Tower Hera, but there's the entirety of the Dark World.
That is a little faster than mirroring out.
Unfortunately, Rambler will not be able to go this way. He will have to swim. Yes, sir.
Yes,
but he will be able to check both King's Tomb and Graveyard Ledge on his way over to the Western Dark World.
Very efficient, and like I said, as you pointed out earlier, when I said you could just run up here, no, you can't.
Nope.
Because we're 40 minutes in and we still don't have our glove, or a hammer for the peg.
No, we do know where the mitts are, but we don't know where the gloves are.
That is so true. I mean, progressive gloves. We see the gloves, but we know they will never be the gloves. They're always the mitts.
Ooh, don't die here, Rambler. The Dark World is a dangerous place. That's why you take a sword.
And
so you're
Hacksaww
never
picked
alone.
up tempered sword. I didn't even catch that. Was that in Thieves Town or was that earlier?
I'm not sure. I was just too excited by the mirror.
Yeah.
And there's blue mail though.
Well, we don't really have a lot of health yet.
Everybody telling us tempered was in the chess game, so we didn't miss by much.
All right, okay, because he just got to Village of Outcasts. Yeah, I mean, until we, right now.
And the hammer for Rambler.
Well, I was literally just saying that until we find the hammer, and the gloves, the Aga Tower is our only Dark World access point, so they have to be really careful not to die. The hammer doesn't actually change that, though. Without the gloves, that's still our only access point.
That's true,
he's going to get the mitts. He's going to get the mitts now, so he has the...
No, he won't get the mitts. He only has he only has a hammer.
Oh, why? God.
Gloves unlock the mitts. But what will change things are that Rambler will finish Thieves Town on his first trip, while Hacksaww only did the first 4 items.
I was having a little bit of a panic attack earlier, and maybe I took too much anti-anxiety meds.
Okay, it's okay, buddy. It's all right. Breathe. It's all good. So Hacksaww continuing his trek. He will go down all the way to Hype Cave, where he will probably then just have to save and quit. What is Hacksaww? He's going back for the digging game. No? Archery game? Oh, he's out of rupees. So 20 rupees to play.
Money. Yeah, he's going to want money so he can get into Palace of Darkness.
Yep, that's good forward thinking.
Yeah, I mean, for all he knows, the hammer is going to be in Hype Cave. We know that's not the case. He's going to actually have to save and quit to get back to Palace of Darkness.
Yeah, but that's not actually so bad, because it's a save and quit. Oh my god, he's going to save and quit back to Link's house, so then he'll have to run to Hyrule Castle, then go to Pod.
That's a good point. Without the mirror, it's going to dump you in the light world, which is obviously a very important safety precaution if you don't have the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Not much of a time loss though. And he's digging for some extra money.
Yeah.
This is the one time we actually want to see all these big 20s.
Yep. Not sure what else he still has to pay for. It's just Pod. He may want to stock up later for potions, but everything else is paid for in this seed.
Yeah, Pod. Maybe having to pay for Kiki twice if you mess it up.
Mm-hmm.
Pyramid Fairy is 100 rupees. But yeah, I think that's about it.
Yep. We're nowhere near doing Pyramid Fairy though.
No, and our 5-6 crystals, Thieves Town and Swamp Palace.
Yeah. Let's see what he finds. We do find the swag net. Actually, just swag net, 10 out of 10. There. I said it. We find a red leaf to replace the blue leaf that Hacksaww had. And not too much else.
So why do you think he didn't clear Thieves Town when he was in the area?
Without the hammer?
You're only leaving one chest behind, and it might not even have an item.
Yeah, but odds are, I don't remember if he found the small key or not.
It's a common play, orphaning that chest.
Not so common. Plus, if he did do that and he had to come back, that would be the worst. Hacksaww does have a completionist approach right now. He does have a faster execution than NYRambler. So it's better for him to go do 100% of everything and don't leave anything behind. Rambler is the one who has to take the risks here.
Yeah, and chat pointing out something that you don't see too often, but I would have forgotten and then I would have remembered. You do not need a glove to get to Blind's cell, or the Maiden's cell. You can kill all the enemies in that room and around the left side. You don't see it that often, because who doesn't have a glove by now, but it's possible.
Something that will possibly be different for Hacksaww at this point is he might do the bow locked side first before going to the back of Pod. If he does that, he'll find the mirror early, and that's when he'll have to ask himself, do I fail or do I finish?
That's a good point.
Mhm.
It's a really tough gamble. If you're, like you're saying, if he's in completionist mode, he's probably going to do as much as he can while he's in the dungeon.
Yeah. But if he thinks that, oh my, what happens if new NYRambler decide, oh, I'm going to go to pod, and if he did do that and finds the mirror, then there's a bunch of other mirror lock locations that he could do, such as Tower of Hera, King's Tomb, Cave 45, a graveyard ledge with the hammer.
Yeah, the what if game is impossible because it's like, what if he went deeper in pod and found another progression item?
Meta game. Once you get to the top 128, you gotta meta game a little bit. Who is my opponent? What do they usually do? Let's check out their past races. What would they do in X, Y, or Z circumstance? The more you know your opponent, the better your chances to win.
That is a really good point, and I've heard a lot of runners talk about that in interviews, and you don't normally think about it because if you're doing like a weekly race with 100 people or whatever, you're just gonna play the odds. But in these 1v1s, it doesn't matter if you're second place by 4 seconds. You're second place. You lost. So yeah, the metagame really, really does become important, and you do have to adjust your gameplay for every single opponent.
Mm-hmm. But Hacksaww taking the mirror, gonna do the back of escape. The back of pod. I mean, there are 4 more items back here, so I don't blame him at all.
Yeah, and we're also going to see what I presume was going to be a full Thieves Town clear. Having the hammer, there's no reason for Rambler not to just full clear this dungeon. There's 0 risk of leaving an item behind.
Mm-hmm. And I see all the Mr. Destructide emote in the chat. I think there's a issue with Discord itself, not necessarily both of our connections.
Yeah, I'm going to blame Discord, definitely, because then I don't have to call Verizon and deal with them.
Mm-hmm.
It's always easier. And my video is fine. So we got... I lost my train of thought.
We got powder!
You say something.
This way, we're doing the back of Thieves Town, as you predicted, my friend! Wait,
yeah,
if you find the small key in the front of Thieves Town, it makes you even more hesitant to go do the back without the hammer. So really, I think it's a better play for Hacksaww having left. Buddy?
I'm just trying to think of where Hacksaww goes after this. I mean, his options coming out of here is basically to do the same loop over again. The mirror does let him do Tower of Hera and East Death Mountain. Actually, no, he can't.
Why is Hacksaww taking a Death Warp?
Yeah, can't even get to Death Mountain. So you mentioned Hera earlier, but that's not available to us. We don't have access to the mountain.
Oh, that's actually a good point. So yeah, after this, then you're off to Bombo's tablet. Yeah, there's gonna be another item around here somewhere. Possibly, it's gonna be Magic Bat.
So Hacksaww could do the save and quit now that he picked up the mirror to get back to the pyramid a little quicker.
Hammer could mean the Helmosaur. Oh yeah. People telling us Swamp Palace. How did we not think of Swamp Palace?
It's just
because nobody wants to go there. I get it.
Yeah, it's an instinctual reluctance to go to Swamp Palace. Hacksaww has to do this whole loop again to do the Graveyard Ledge and King's Tomb check. Yep. This would give the hammer, but then I think you're probably right. He's probably just going to continue on and do Thieves Town. Hammer. Sure. The gloves. I mean, gloves is. There's nothing in Swamp that's gloves locked.
Nope. But the gloves are right here.
Stupid.
Vanilla gloves?
No.
Ish? Vanilla progressive gloves. Vanilla progressive gloves.
All right.
So I hope that opens up enough for you. Because after this, Rambler is gonna go get those mitts.
That opens up. Yeah, that opens up enough for me. I mean, we have all the Dark World access now.
We can do everything. We can do all the things except for Misery Mire area.
We can do all the things. Well, yeah, we can't get the mire. We can't clear, kill Trinex yet. We don't have that ice rod. But I don't know if there's anything else that we need. But it depends on where the medallions are. I mean, we're gonna need that flute.
Yeah, but that's about it. It's flute and Medallion X. Yes, we're calling it Medallion X.
There's no doubt in my mind that both players, immediately get the mitts, mirror, and then go up to Dark, to Death Mountain, because you have Hera, you have, Paradox Cave, Hookshot Cave, you have everything up there. You have so many items, 20 plus items.
You also have Turtle Rock you could go into potentially. No,
I'm gonna say we don't do that.
Okay, fine. You don't go into T-Rock. Fine. But yeah. The swamp might be put on the back burner because of that dual gloves that we're gonna get. So the gloves in the Thieves Town Big Chest and the gloves on Bumper Ledge.
And we also have we can full clear Ice Palace, which is something that is going to be on the back burner as well. But that does just get opened up. Well, I got to point out though, because this is it just blows my mind. All of this came down to the Thieves Town Big Chest, which I was insisting is absolutely worth skipping.
Yep. So these are the consequences of your actions. Do not skip the Big Chest in Thieves Town, especially if you have the small key in the front. This
right here is the reason why we have the 20-minute stream delay, because if runners could just listen to me and then do the exact opposite of what I predicted, it would be 100% win every time.
That's the reason? Oh, my goodness.
That's the reason. Yeah, I'm taking credit for this.
We could get rid of all this delay then if we fired you as a commentator, but I don't want to do that. I like you as a commentator.
Yeah, I don't have an answer to that.
Hey. Logically. It's logical. It's logical.
Tiru is a sequence break.
Yeah, we love Tiru. See, look at the chat. See? They all love you.
I know. Thank you, chat. I'm just glad to be here for the last race of the game. The whole one day without commentating made me rusty.
Yep. Hey, this is only the last race of groups here. After that, we still have a ton more races. At least 96 in the coming weeks for the top 64. At least 96. Between 64 and 96.
Yeah, I want to do the soon trademark.
Soon. So we get our first look at Death Mountain. 55 minutes into the seed. 56 almost. For our first item on Death Mountain.
And the old man, known throughout time for giving out mirrors, is just giving us a big 20. Kind of disappointing.
So Hacksaww gonna pick up the gloves on his way back from going to the cell. He went right past it. He could have gotten it right away. But he's gonna come back.
He's gonna be. I don't know why. I thought he was just gonna skip it.
No, he was not gonna skip that. He better not.
I know, but I just. All right. Hacksaww gets his gloves finally. 56 minutes in.
Rambler sees there's a heart piece inside Spectacle Rock and a heart container on top of it, and decides to go up right away to Tower Hera.
So you're talking about, and maybe. I'll definitely let you answer this. I won't even take a shot at it because I don't metagame. But if you're Hacksaww and you had to make this loop twice, you found the hammer and pod, and you know that the gloves were hammer locked. Do you feel that your opponent got that already? Do you feel behind?
Okay.
I know you always feel behind.
All right. For the metagame, for the metagame, you always have to picture two players. You have to picture yourself in an alternate universe and your opponent. Okay? So, in the yourself in an alternate universe where you went to pod to get the mirror in the first place and did all these checks, where would you be compared to right now? Now, compared to new NYRambler, now you compare all three, which one would be the most ahead? If you're ahead of your mirror clone, awesome. If you're behind your mirror clone, not so good. If you're behind your mirror clone and the opponent, that's not so great. Right now, I picture that Hacksaww is thinking, okay, listen, I know my execution is slightly better, but if Rambler decided to do the pod check first, then he might have caught up to me right now. So I may have lost like a minute, 2 minutes of my 2 to 3 minute lead. So he's probably still confident, but that might have shaken it a bit.
All right, that was a slightly helpful answer. I'll give you half credit.
Thank you for the half credit. I mean... That's how I metagame anyway. It is not efficient. It is very stressful. I think you should just play the game for fun.
Yeah, well, I mean...
Because this is basically just thinking and talking to yourself while you're playing the game while being completely isolated from the world. It's like...
I was with you when you're like, this is what my opponent would do, but then you got into like mirror universes, and it's like... I'm like, all right, I'm just going to go with the traditional, they always feel behind.
Nah. There's some races I know I'm ahead. Just like that one from the other night, like with the I knew I was ahead.
That was a weird lead in that race.
But here we go. Third crystal for Rambler here. Taking a lead in crystal count. Does not have a lead in most checks, however. Because he has not checked the back of Escaped. He has not checked Hype Cave. He has not done many other small checks like that. Well, small. I say small. Hype Cave is not so small. It's not too out of way to do those. But if you look at like, okay, Hacksaww did like all these extra checks. He's tailing Rambler right now up to Tower Hera. Hera's not too long. So you can see there's a slight difference. Wow, he really took so much damage going up that mountain. Really get like bullied by all those cabbages. That is insane.
Yeah, he's one hit away.
2, but yeah.
It depends on what hits him. Maybe if he goes in the dark world and gets hit by a Lionel, he's 1 hit away.
Yeah.
I'm thinking worst case scenario here.
It's like I kept seeing like hit. I'm like, I'm trying to get through this, and all I want to say is like, oh dear God, poor Hacksaww.
Well, I was just gonna say I really like Rambler's routing. I mean, doing the mirror Hera lets you drop down the Paradox Cave. Although I would have liked if he went into the Dark World.
Yes.
And then mirrored here. That's a
exactly
little bit quicker.
that. Yep, slightly quicker.
I was right about to give him credit for being optimal, but I didn't want to interrupt you, and then he ruined it.
Oh, I see what somebody said in the chat. It's called Death Mountain for a reason.
Oh, that's so bad.
I love it. I love it. No, I love these kinds of things.
I really hate puns. So chat does that to me.
Somebody asked what the first item was in the bottom. We didn't see it either. It kind of just blipped out. So I'm gonna assume nothing until he opens his menu. So it was definitely nothing.
He's doing the bomb jump here, so I guess he's going to go in, check Turtle Rock first, and then do Super Bunny and Hook Shot. It's not a bad way to do it either.
It's not my favorite, but at least it'll be open for when he goes back to Ganon's Tower later.
Yeah, I just like, if you're able to fall down from Paradox Cave and then climb back up in the Dark World, you mirror right outside the Paradox Cave entrance. It's just a little bit quicker, and then you can finish this whole loop with a Spike Cave check.
Mm-hmm. Here we go. What is medallion for Turtle Rock? Let's hope it's not quick. It's quick!
Oh, no.
Oh, and we have everything to get all the way to the end.
You have to check the 6 items first in Super Bunny.
Yes, that's for sure.
I mean, yeah,
but if you really think about it, you're like 1 to 2 items away from Go Mode. Do you really want to enter Pendant Turtle Rock?
Well, I guess, so do we want to see an Ice Rod here, or do we not want to see an Ice Rod here?
You kind of want... Okay, if you want to troll these guys, well, give them an Ice Rod.
A flute would be nice, because then you can...
A flute would be better.
You're like, I'm done, I got the flute. Blue Goo? That's not so bad.
And flute cannot be on Pet. Pet has already been checked. Yes, we only have the one medallion, but if you do get the flute, then you can at least go check if you do have the right medallion. Personally, if I find the flute right now, I'm not going to go into Pendant Turtle Rock and wait until I can confirm that am I in go mode or not? Am I wasting my time or
You're
not?
just going to go to NYRambler.
Yeah.
Because the way the Misery Mire works is if the medallion isn't Quake, it's going to be in the Mire shed. that's
that's
the way it works, right?
It's a bad meme, but it happens. Like
it is a bad meme. That's not
like,
logically accurate.
It's like leaving the keys under the doormat.
Well, without having found the flute or the ice rod, I think a dip in the Turtle Rock is not completely uncalled for. I mean, we can full clear swamp and ice. Which are
it is a
dungeons.
huge gamble. He hasn't done most of the Southern Dark World. He hasn't gone to Hype Cave, for crying out loud. There's 5 items there.
Yeah,
you know what? Going into a 5-item location dungeon.
I'm reconsidering. You're right.
Yeah.
This is instead of a bold move, this is a foolish move.
Heck, we have the boss there's an item on Land Molus, for goodness sake.
Right. I take back all my praise until we find the flute in the next chest.
But for NYRambler, I think this is a very bold and smart move, because will Hacksaww go in? Rambler does have to make those gambles here. He went into Pendant Pod, it paid off. He's going to Pendant Turtle Rock, it could pay off. Who knows? This is the nature of Rando!
Maybe we find flute and bombos in the next chest. That's the way this is. 2 keys.
So far. 2 keys and a big key so far. Do you keep going, Rambler? He does!
So I hadn't completely thought through all of the easy overworld locations that he missed. But you're right. This is a gamble. If this pays off, though, it
pays off.
I agree. Hacksaww is probably unlikely to go in here.
But look at this. Look at what Hacksaw's doing.
He's already standing up there. That makes sense. Just opening it.
Okay, but
you're gonna get a magic refill in Super Bunny Cave.
Who knows?
I don't want him to go
on Raptor's behalf might not be as good if Hacksaww goes in.
I agree.
First item to Rock.
So I agree with you that Hacksaw's execution has been a little bit tighter. So I kind of want Hacksaww to go do Ice Palace and Swamp, and maybe lose a little bit of time there, so it's a bit closer. That would be fun.
But really, it's a flute go mode. Well, flute and potentially medallion. It's tough. It's tough. And I do agree with Ak. Actually, Ak said very wise words. You should just go to where the flute is. Very wise words.
Very, very wise words. And that's why Ak always gets the flute before everybody else.
Was that Devil Homer? Alright. So, Compass in the lava chest. Still have 4 items left here in Turtle Rock.
That's a waste of a key.
Ah, well. Yeah, you're gonna full clear it? You're gonna full clear it. Hacksaww, what are you gonna do next? Are you going to Spike Cave or are you going to Turtle Rock?
I want to see Spike Cave. Oh, no!
Turtle Rock!
No!
Going for it. Hey, if you're already up the mountain, it does save you that extra trek.
All right, so I guess what we've learned here is if you're facing either of these in the next play, just assume that they're making the wrong plays and going into dungeons and they don't need to clear. that helps with the metagame.
This is incredible, honestly. 2 players able to complete Crystal Dungeons. They're off into Pendant Turtle Rock. I love it. I hate it. I love it, but I hate it.
There's 3 crystals they can clear.
Yep. A grand total of 10 items inside dungeons, and we're not even talking about the overworld. Right.
I mean, you include a Hype Cave for Rambler, like Bombo's Tablet, all these other things that are really close. Wow.
So Mimic Cave is down. So 4 items in the dungeon. One is probably on Trinex.
The counter argument is, of course, everybody wants to go mode Swamp and Ice, but
yeah,
it's not worth
Is it even realistically possible in this kind of seed?
I mean, unless the fluid is here and this was necessary, the time that you lose, the 5 or 6 minutes clearing this dungeon, like that's more than time that you would have saved go moding both of those dungeons. And they're crystals. Rambler at least knows that this pedestal is not required. Hacksaww could still be thinking of head play. Oh, nice swag on Hacksaw's side. I love the Samaria block kick.
Yeah, that is pretty nifty. I don't think you can do it with every setup. Did you know there's I think, if I recall, 16 different possible ways that those chain chomps can move, and the top players who play Link to the Past, they've memorized them all to respond to it appropriately. It's insane.
Yeah, I've watched NMG races that were commentated where people will go into all of that detail. Like this scene has 17 different options and things like that. And yeah, I've heard that stat. It's insane.
We're on Laser Bridge. We already found our first item. We have the key. There's 2 more items in here.
Running low on magic.
We're out of magic. This is fine. Don't die here, Rambler. Don't die on the last chest. Come on.
Ice rod or
Don't
flute.
keep us waiting. It's the map. It's the map.
We've really actually learned nothing because we could still have to come back here if we find the ice rod.
Yep. Oh my goodness. How do our runners feel? How would you feel? You went into Turtle Rock. That is a lot of invested time. That's at least 4 minutes of your time. And it was worth nothing. You're feeling crazy here. You need to get stuff done.
Yeah, I mean, Hacksaww, I think, is probably going to feel maybe a little bit worse about it. He did the pod play, and that had the required progression in the mirror.
Yep.
So he might have been thinking I got to do Turtle Rock, and the gamble didn't pay off twice. Rambler, he did make that pod play and it was successful, and he probably feels like he wiped out that advantage.
Possibly. But it's certainly stressful. Rambler's finally going over to Hype Cave, gets his red mail. What does red Homer Simpson look like? I can barely tell. Is it just his pants?
I think it's just his pants.
I don't remember him ever wearing red pants. Fair, I don't remember him wearing green pants. So here we go, our first trip into Swamp Palace. It has the biggest concentration of items in a dungeon. We have 6 in total.
Hacksaww with the unnecessary hover.
Did he actually hover over to the big chest? Nice. Nice. Swag. Homer wielding a sword. I can totally picture Homer wielding a sword. I'm sure there was one episode of The Simpsons where he did that. If he wasn't impaled on it, I mean.
There was an episode of The Simpsons where they did everything.
Yeah.
But at this point, 30 years in?
Pretty much. Here we go. First trip into Swamp. Once again, 6 items in here. Let's hope that we can find not find the compass and map, because that would mean they might want to do left side. Who knows? After doing a pendant turtle rock with nothing in it, you might want to skip it.
Yeah, so the way that I feel when I watch races like this.
Oh my god.
No. It's okay. It's okay.
So how do you feel?
When they're gambling Turtle Rock, I want them to find the flute because I want the gamble to pay off. But now that it hasn't paid off, I kind of want them to suffer a little bit. So I want them to have to full clear Swamp and Ice and then find the flute in K45.
Okay, so you either want a jet seed or you want our runners to suffer the most abominable seed ever.
No, actually not. I want the seed to be adaptively trolly based on their poor decisions.
Oh my god.
So it's only the fact that they full cleared Turtle Rock that I want this to be a full clear of Swamp and Ice. Only because of
Oh man.
I know the Twerp hasn't quite gotten the randomizer code to reach that level of inherent dynamic spite yet, but I'm holding out hope.
I think those are called crowd control races. Honestly, it's like, oh, this person's behind, let's help them. Oh, they're ahead, let's spike them. Really, the CC is the answer to everything. And we get a red boomerang. I will comment no further on that subject. Back to the seed. So here we go, another divergence. We have Hacksaww heading into Ice Palace. We have Rambler inside Swamp. Either dungeon could hold the key. The key being the flute. The flute is key. And so yeah, Rambler decided to go to the back of. So yeah, Rambler going to the back of Swamp. I think that's actually the right thing to do. You're only looking for potentially one item to finish the seed. And if you can do that on your way to the boss, that's even better. But right now, it doesn't look like the flute is here.
Yeah, if you could have purchased the flute, then those 50 rupees would have come in handy.
Yeah. The only place I know where you can purchase a flute is at a very, very large angry fish.
That's not in this particular seed.
Oh, well, he does sell something blue sometimes. In this case, he was selling fire in lantern.
So I totally agree with you. I mean, you make the Argus play if if the big key's back here, you can loop that into. If he doesn't find the flute, he's got to come back.
Mm-hmm. This is interesting. I don't know what happened there for Rambler. He's having trouble with the fire rod and the boss. I thought he did hit it with the fire rod in the first place, but it might have been a poke. So nothing so far. There are 2 items left in this dungeon because if I recall, he did find the compass and the map. Will he go back in to do left side?
Yes.
Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We'll find out in like 10 seconds.
4 seconds.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, you got to go back in.
You got to?
He skipped.
No,
oh
he's
my
skipping out.
God.
He's skipping out. He felt that Turtle Rock was such a big gamble. I can't waste my time in left side swamp, so he's leaving.
What the?
That gamble.
The what? And the what?
It's okay. It's okay. But who knows? It's still possible for it to be an Ice Palace. I don't think it is so far.
Rambler is killing me today. Oh,
finds ether on Bombo's tablet.
Maybe that'll be required for Misery Mire if we ever find a way in.
True enough. Where's he headed to next? Probably Cave 45, Stumpy, Digging Game, maybe even the Smiths and the Purple Chest chain.
Maybe he'll go back in and do left side Swamp. Who knows?
No, he's not going back to Swamp. Swamp is dead forever for him now. He will never go back unless that's where that flute is.
I'm not going to put it past him. He could go back in right after this check. Oh, everything's fair game.
Chat also very kindly reminding me that was a red crystal he picked up in Swamp Palace, meaning that the Pyramid Fairy is open for business.
Oh, maybe he'll do the Pyramid Fairy after checking left side Swamp.
You really want him going back in there?
I simply don't feel like I can predict what he's going to do next.
Well, I'm banking on Smith's Chain and maybe even the Magic Bat. And once he brings back the Purple Chest, that's when he will do the Pyramid Fairy. That's my best bet.
You can turn the Purple Chest in and then do left side Swamp. That's a really efficient route. I like it.
Again, you want that left side Swamp.
I'm just not ruling anything out.
You're flabbergasted by this play, aren't you?
I honestly am, because I would have expected a full clear. I think I tend to follow Hacksaw's thinking a little bit more. Like when you're in a dungeon, you just full clear that dungeon so you don't ever have to come back. But
Wait a minute! That goes against what you said about Thieves Town! Oh, so what? It's always junk in the big chest. You don't need to ever come back.
Right, I'm changing my opinion.
Oh, okay.
To reflect
Regarding this,
to reflect what pays off. You've been racing too long, and as an experienced commentator, you learn that you get to be right regardless. You get to say,
look! The play was the Hammer Pegs. Hammer Pegs was hiding that flute. Rambler is one step closer to being Goma. We will not know for sure until we visit that Misery Mire location and verify what the...
Just as I predicted, wisely skipping that left side swamp. It's just not worth the time.
Oh, you... 2020 hindsight, my friend. 2020 hindsight.
That's why I like looking at both players' screens.
Now, Rambler did have to get rid of those blacksmiths, that little blacksmith following him around. So that's why he did that. Afterwards, may as well check if he has, like, silver arrows or something. But also, you did notice he picked up a bomb before going down those stairs. That's because he had to go through the portal. And if you're holding something, you don't go through the portal.
And just speaking of things you don't also see that often, Hacksaww picking up the extra magic pots there because he did not have enough magic for 8 fire rod shots.
Now, I don't encourage people to put 07 in the chat, but I do put it myself.
Did Rambler, he skipped the magic bat, or did he check that? He didn't check it.
Oh, no, he did not check the magic bat.
All right, well, hopefully
here it is, ladies and
gentlemen.
That
wasn't Bombos.
Let's find out. What is the medallion required for Misery Mire? It is...
Say Bombos, say Bombos.
It is... Ether!
Oh!
Ether! Well, it is technically Bombos because it was on Bombos tablet. You're not wrong.
So, skipping out of swamp and checking Bombos tablet was the right play. Good for Rambler.
I know.
Yeah.
I would have done the same. Wouldn't you have?
Absolutely.
So this is go mode for NYRambler. Now we just have to figure out when is Hacksaww going to be able to find that flute. He seems paused. Yep, thinking deeply.
Not a good place to stand.
Shield stolen from him and bombs. Oh dear God, he's being robbed naked. Well, he is technically naked. I mean, he does have the naked sprite.
He can always mirror and then buy bombed arrow upgrades.
I'm gonna go ahead and say this is a phone call. This isn't portal conservation because 1, Aga's already dead. 2, you had to flute away from that portal if you were talking about Turtle Rock. And 3, he could just bump into the enemy to die. Right now he's just getting all his items stolen, which kind of sucks. Maybe, yeah, he just stepped away for a little bit. But that's all right. Saves
I guess he didn't want the shield.
He doesn't need the shield. He may not have noticed that it's gone.
Probably not.
Yeah, it's not the best shield in the world. And I thank our tracker for removing the shield, but at the same time, if he does find another shield upgrade, it will automatically go up to mirror again. So, maybe keep that up there.
I'm not actually sure if that's the correct thing to do. Remove the shield.
No, we do have to technically keep it up there to indicate that if we find another shield, it'll be mirror. But Rambler looking for that key. It is not a Godmire. Oh, hey, speaking of mirror shield.
I kind of feel like Hacksaww would like remove the bow if... look at the tracker, like Broadstone's gonna remove the bow just because like Hacksaww unequips it or something at this point.
Okay, see, now this is smart. Hacksaww is checking some of the mirror locations left behind before entering Swamp. He may yet still go do the Smith Chain, and if he does, that'll mean a go mode Swamp for him. See, nope, I guess not. Oh, that's too bad. So it will be Swamp Palace or possibly Bombos Tablet for him right now. Bombos.
Yeah, so this is going to get a medallion, but that's not really going to give him any useful information. He's still going to probably feel compelled to full clear Swamp.
And Rambler going to have to suffer through that cutscene to get that big key. So yeah.
So this is really interesting because I talked with Rambler before this race. I said I haven't talked to Hacksaww. I don't know his thinking, but Rambler was like 100% planning on this being his last game, and I really don't like. Despite watching him race, I don't know if he had a strategy.
I think his strategy was give it all he has with its entire heart.
It seems like things was worked out, but they shouldn't have.
Why do you mean they shouldn't have? He was making plays, good decision. He was going for the concentration of items every single time. I think he did great.
Well, I know he did, but the thing is, it feels like it shouldn't have worked out.
But this is the randomizer. This is also part of the whole thing.
Oh, I know. I'm talking about like the randomizer experience. Like, it can work out despite it feeling like, it shouldn't. Because you gamble and like, all right, I'm not going to clear that dungeon. I'm not going to do those overworld checks, and you just happen to walk right into the items you need. That's randomizer for you.
Well, walk right into. I mean, he did have to hammer some pegs out, like 20 of them. I actually don't remember how many there are.
Yeah, but you got to run through them, so it was pretty fast.
Yeah. I mean, if you really think about it, he was being chased by a frog while he was hammering some pegs in. That's dangerous.
Yeah, and
you don't know where that frog's been.
Well, that frog is sneaky too, because like it'll stand behind you, like just like it's going to stalk you, and as soon as you start running fast, it keeps up with you. And it's like the whole time you're thinking, when's it going to make its move?
And Rambler did not have the spooky glitch set up. Don't blame him. You don't necessarily know what the medallion was or anything. Also, he may not know how to do the spooky glitch. Actually, myself, I don't even know how to do the spooky glitch. So
the way you say it is like, if you don't know how to do it, then no one should know how to do it.
The way I say it makes it sound like
even
that?
I don't know how to do a spooky glitch.
Oh, well. Well, maybe not like that.
The arrogance is strong with this one.
Oh, just a little. But yeah, I don't know how to do the spooky glitch. Honestly, I should learn it. I should learn how to do so many things. I still don't know how to Harapot, but that's neither here nor there. As we see, Rambler dashing through the eyes on a on a one slimed room. Over the Thunderbolt he goes and shooting Vitreous's eye. I don't know. But he takes it down.
3 months of holiday music.
It's not over yet.
You should have got all your bad puns in like a week ago. You're too late. Holidays have expired.
No, I am not Dr. Baptastic. I do not have a singing voice, nor do I have the musical knowledge.
That was good, though. I'll give you dashing through the eyes. That was pretty clever.
As soon as I said that, I had to keep going. I'm like, oh god, this is the starting of a song. I mean, I gotta keep going, right? Dashing through the eyes.
Yeah, you're committed at that point.
Yeah, committed. And here we go. Rambler heading directly to Moldorm. He already has the big key. It's a 1-2 punch over the Misery Mire Desert area.
Yeah, this is a super fast extra crystal, and then just a go mode Ice Palace. Now,
thanks for backing me up, Kermit.
we could have been almost done, but Hacksaww had to go back and change from fast Ganon back to normal, which was in hindsight the correct move to make for Hacksaww.
I think it was for Hacksaww. It was definitely the correct move to do, especially if you think you're execution heavy. Then you want that Ganon tower in. Because if your execution is better, then you've bought yourself an extra 10 minutes in Ganon's tower, doing, like, checking for the big key, going up the gauntlet, fighting Aga 1, fighting Aga 2. Like, that's like
is this another song? You're explaining it in verse.
In rhythm as well.
Yeah.
Here we go. Hacksaww takes down Argus. Who knows if he's going to go back to the left side. This will cost him some time if he does. He does not. But Rambler takes down Lamulus, gets his 6th crystal and a shovel, a great shovel.
So
And Hacksaw's gonna go do Pyramid Fairy, yeah?
Yeah, it looks like Pyramid Fairy check over here.
It's a duck of doom.
I mean, yeah, hammer pegs. You know, you're not going to do hammer pegs unless you're ready to commit to the entire Smith's chain, which probably would be next, I think.
You'd think so, but it's getting further and further because it's very isolated, that Smith's check right now. Like you've got the Smith's check, the Smith's chain, and the magic bat. But aside from that, there's also, I don't know, the last item in pod. There's the 2 items in left side swamp. There's catfish. There's
Yeah, well, Smith's chain is 4 items, including magic bat and hammer peg. So that's,
yeah, but there's also proximity.
That's not bad.
I would see him more easily go do catfish right now than go do the Smith's chain.
Yeah, coming out of the pyramid, if you're ever going to do catfish, this is your last chance to route it in with anything. And we didn't actually see Zora from either player, did we?
Zora?
Did we see Zora?
Yes, they had lamp.
Oh, duh. Yeah, never mind.
It was what we went to do Aga afterwards.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking.
It's okay, buddy. It's been a long seed. Well, not in terms of time, but in stress and action and suspense and flute activation.
I'm better at the afternoon seeds than the evening ones.
Yeah, I am so tired right now. The later it gets, the more delirious I become, and I get a little bit hyper.
Yeah, I just really, really wanted to do a race.
Dear wants out. Hey, here we go. Not super useful for both our runners. They're very, very adept at this game, and the difference between Tempered Sword and Gold Sword, not too big. But still, we won't spit on it.
There's 730 people watching this, and at least 300 of them have said we're insane. Or have lost.
If it's only 300, that means the majority doesn't think we're insane and/or cannot type.
I like your reasoning, Rywick.
Yeah, it's either or.
I don't know.
So yeah, Rambler going through
right
Ice Box so quick. I mean, really, it's just like your NMG run. You check nothing, just go straight for the boss.
This looks good for Hacksaww. This looks like a hammer check, which is gonna give him his go mode.
To be fair, it might be too little, too late. We do have a 1 crystal lead over for Rambler. He's getting to his last crystal. Hacksaww still has to go finish Desert with just the boss, but he does have to enter Misery Mire, and that big key, it's in the cutscene, which takes forever.
Yeah, it's basically a full mire clear.
Oh.
So
Very lovely for Rambler, taking down Cold Stare, getting his bombos. Wait, so that means that Hacksaww has bombos as well. He has all his medallions, he's fine. Hacksaww...
Oh, tracker fail.
No, not a tracker fail. Have you heard us? We're very distracting.
I'm teasing.
Plus, the tracker doesn't always respond. Not the tracker person, the tracker machine.
Well, it's also possible that the enemy.
I do have to. Sorry, I do have
bombos. Maybe the enemy ate his bombos medallion.
Maybe, but I feel bad. But I have to stop and just announce to everybody, it is time for the GT Big Key game. So put your numbers in chat between 1 and 22. It has to be a full number. No decimals, no percentages, has to be positive, has to be between 1 and 22 inclusively. I think I covered every positive.
It has to be rational, no irrational numbers.
Yep. And it has to be entered in chat before we enter Ganon's Tower. So you do have about 35 seconds at most.
Yes, and you also have to remember which of you was the first person to say the correct number.
Oh god, okay, let's scroll up.
I'm not scrolling up.
I'm scrolling up. Oh god.
All right, well then Rywek will be responsible for announcing the winner at the conclusion of the game.
I can totally do this. All right. I know that the first person to enter the number was goddamn stupid.
Hey, watch your language.
Oh god, I did that wrong, and oh my god, okay. But that is the first person I see to enter a number, at least in this huge chain. So, closest person to that, they win? No, I don't know.
I like games where you get to make up the rules as you go.
So Hacksaww is in Misery Mire. He will have a long time before he gets that big key. This is your final chance to put in your GT big key number in chat before we enter. Anything past 1104 will not count.
Right, because there's a good chance that there's still some numbers that haven't yet been claimed.
Yeah. Also, if you win all of Tiru's love. All of it.
I should warn you that there's not that much to begin with.
You sound like you have a big heart. Oh, hey, look, Night Rod. Let's go finish Turtle Rock.
Don't suggest that. That's plausible.
So yeah, here we are at check number 3 on the torch.
I want to see Rambler do a Ice Rod Limbo 2 fight. Just get the rod, chance to shine a little bit.
Nobody wants to use an Ice Rod. Never. Too cold. But he may still have the possibility of finding the silver arrows here. We still haven't found those yet.
Yeah, not really gonna make a difference with Tempered Sword having to do a few extra spins, but if you happen to get it anyway.
It's a difference between a minute and a half, and considering that he's pretty much full cleared the rest of the game, odds are pretty high it's gonna be over here. So if you do that detour, that 2 to 3 second detour to open one extra chest, I wouldn't blame you at all, because it does save you about a minute.
Full cleared the rest of the game, isn't he still missing Back of Escape?
There's only one item back there.
Yes, but he doesn't know that.
Yeah, he does. There's the key, there's a map, and there's one item.
No, I'm implying that he forgot.
Oh. Okay, I getcha.
That was a bad save.
Okay,
I give up on that one. That was all me.
Alright. Here we go. Chest number, I don't even know. Chest number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Hacksaww heading down to the boss. Only has his big key.
Yeah, still has his spooky activated because you saw him kicking up dust. I mean, it's not over yet. I mean, if it's like, if the GTBK is like in Tyru, and that's where Hacksaww goes right away. I mean.
Yeah, because that sounds like the way Hacksaw's been playing. Gamble on tile room.
But yeah, that was Randomizer Room with checks number 10, 11, 12, and 13. I am saying it out loud to make sure that I am still up to date.
That wasn't particularly spooky. That's just shooting the wall 4 times.
He may have lost his spooky glitch, actually. That's alright. Here we go, say hi to Bob. Hi, Bob. And we're going to say bye to Bob. Hey, there's Silvers. Bye, Bob.
Bob is hoarding all the silver arrows.
Silver hoarder.
There are people who, and this makes no sense to me. I've heard people explain their rationale, and I will never ever get it. People who will do tile room, like they think they're behind, so they do tile room. It's just such a long shot, and sometimes it pays off, but I don't think it's ever a good play.
I personally don't like tile room, but only not because it's a long check. Honestly, it's because there's a high likelihood of having a small key in there. That's my only reason why I don't want to do tile room often.
Kermit agrees. Never tile room. Thank you, Kermit.
Never. Okay.
Wasn't that race? Was your key in tile room in the race that we did?
Shh! I haven't watched it yet. The spoilers. Actually, we should avoid spoilers for anybody who wants to watch the VOD in chat.
I think you get like a 1-day grace period on spoilers.
Yeah, I think 1 day grace is fine. Oh my god, Rambler! Rambler, you better make it! Oh god, he wasted all his magic and he was running out of time. He almost didn't make that door. But we're on our last few checks here.
Suicidal jellies there.
Yep. Protecting that torch with everything they had. Which was just, well, glob? I don't know what they're made of.
They
Floating glob. Glob is an element. I swear.
Alright, we got 3 chests left.
19,
2 chests.
20. Chest number 20 wins! Oh god, I have to scroll back up, don't I?
Yes, you do.
I can do this. I can do this.
You
oh god, it doesn't scroll up
this.
high enough! It doesn't scroll up high enough! Oh no! I have a 2.0.
Commentator fail.
I have T-Rex who said 20. I have... Anybody else? Anybody else? If you said 20 and it just got cut off, I know T-Rex said 20.
So your strategy is, if you said the winning number, like what is it, the honor system? Just let us know. and we'll acknowledge you won.
So GG T-Rex, you win all of Tiru's love.
Congratulations to all 70 people that now say they picked 21st.
Okay, fine. Glower Power, you guessed it. You got it too. Okay, GG's to you. You both can split Tiru's love. It is non-refundable and you do not get a gift receipt.
But my love is indivisible.
You're making it sound like your love is 0.
I would be accurate.
But hey, look at what Hacksaw's doing. He's also heading to GT.
Oh,
if
I love that.
By some kind of miracle, he decides to do Dark Magician. I mean, that's still a strategy for some people. He would find the GT Big Key much faster. The difference being he would not get the silver arrows.
Was there a smoky in the Hope Room?
No, there was not. So
right,
you
you'd
have to do the Dark
Magician.
Magician. Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I brought it up.
I thought you were just like giving him his royalty check. Every time you mention Dark Magician, he gets like 10 bits or something.
I personally never knew who Dark Magician was. I'm sure I've seen him like playing in the first tournament or like in V18, but I generally don't remember the guy. I haven't seen him around the community.
He's in the randomizer credits, but I'm not sure if it's credits for any development work or just for naming a GT Tower route.
It might have been for beta testing. I'm not sure. But I don't know if you noticed, but Rambler's Gauntlet has not been going super smoothly. He's been having difficulty in almost every single one of these rooms. This is already a 3-cycle Landmo.
That's tough Landmo.
So yeah, again, this is why Hacksaww would want Fast Ganon out of here. So to put back in this GT, giving him one more fighting chance. And look at this, Hacksaww heading over to the left side. This is the precursor to potentially a Dark Magician. That or he's doing NMG and he completely forgot he's doing Randomizer. But I'm gonna assume he's doing Dark Magician.
Wow, like those two aren't even close.
What, you go full left on
Yeah, but like he's doing Dark Magician or he completely forgot he's playing Randomizer.
Okay, fine, the 2 extremes, but they're possible. I mean, anything is possible.
He's just gonna do an NMG from this point out. Skipping every chest that you normally skip in NMG.
This is fine. Okay, he mirrored out.
Thank God the key wasn't in Rando Room.
The stuff room. He is doing Dark Magician. This will play to his advantage, but we do have Rambler almost at the top of the gauntlet, about to face Moldorn 2. Shush, people in chat. This is fine. Rambler again having just a bit of difficulty in each room. That just buys Hacksaww a few seconds. Who knows if that's enough time or not? But right now it doesn't look like it. It's Rambler's race to lose, no matter what, because he does have a few minutes advantage. But anytime that he does like spend a few seconds extra here or there, if he does like fall to Moldorm, which he doesn't because he's awesome, or if he falls to Ganon himself, well, that's just an extra bit for Hacksaww. I don't see him falling to Ganon or dying to Ganon. I mean, red mail. You still have one
Hacksaw's
potion left.
Hacksaw's having trouble here too. This Mario blocks.
Yeah, but at least he had some Mario blocks. Rambler was stuck with bombs.
Well, he had half magic. I mean, I know Rambler's going into Aga 2, and he definitely has the good lead, and this is kind of like filler that you say all the time. But I think in this particular case, hour and 42 minutes in, the nerves are high. Oh, nice trip. I mean, this is a really, really high stress situation for both players, but Rambler not seeing the dot done.
No, neither does Hacksaww. He doesn't know. Nobody knows. I mean, Hacksaww almost last location, which could have been costly.
Both of them saying, "Why did I do Turtle Rock?"
Because it was the right play with where you were. It's just what you do. I think. I'm not sure. I will ask him that question though. What made you feel?
Exactly. If you only have 40 locations left, you do Turtle Rock. That just makes sense.
I don't disagree with the decision to go to Turtle Rock. I am curious as to the reasoning behind it. Because the reasoning behind each of their decisions, I think, is different. I think that the reason they tried Turtle Rock each was different. That's what I wanted.
I'm really glad that you came around to my way of thinking of retroactively approving the decision.
I approved the decision from the get-go. You disapproved.
No, you were not a fan of the TR play.
I was not a fan for Hacksaww. I was a fan for Rambler.
I'm gonna go back and watch that VOD.
Okay, you do that. I thought it was a smart play for Rambler, and then when Hacksaww did it, it's like, your execution's a bit better. Maybe come back to Turtle Rock. But Rambler, that was a great play to make, I think. But here we are, already phase 4 of Ganon. It'll be quickly done with those silver arrows. Silver arrows that Hacksaww does not have, because they were in Bob's chest.
Could be a triple.
1, 2, 2.
Almost.
Here's a third. Oh, fourth.
So,
See, I can count. I counted the GTP guys, but I can't count this. But this is it, ladies and gentlemen of the chat, children of all ages, and slimes, maybe, I don't know. Put your GGs in chat because NYRambler takes it and moves on to the brackets with the top 64. GGs, NYRambler.
Yeah, definitely get your GGs in. Thank all you slimes for watching.
Yes, the slimes. Shush. I can think. And we will soon be joined by NYRambler for a lovely interview. Hello, Rambler. GGs.
GGs.
So, congratulations. You've made it to the brackets. How do you feel?
I feel extremely lucky, I think.
Lucky? What makes you say that?
Apparently we both made the same goof, but I goofed less. I think that's what happened in this race.
There are ways to see this as goofs. I actually thought them as very good strategic plays. I think that you strategically played better.
Yeah, I think my routing definitely was, especially once I got to the Dark World. I mean, Light World routing was blah because, you had the best location.
For sure.
Looking, and that led to the forced key pickup, that led to having to get the lamp. I forgot about the lamp. Maybe I should learn Dark Agahnim. That's different.
So yeah, what was the reasoning behind going to Turtle Rock, actually? If that's what you think is the big goof.
Well, that's the big, I made the genius pod play. That, just something that I always do when I'm, it's, especially if it was a pendant. If it was a crystal, I probably wouldn't go in there. But because it was a pendant, I went in, because if the hammer's not in there, no big deal. I don't have to come back to beat it, hopefully, because I already said pedestal, and the pedestal's dead, so I don't have to worry about it.
That's true.
So I just went there thinking, something's going to be in here, and sure enough, the mirror was in there. Yeah. And that basically let me route everything perfectly, because where the hammer was, and eventually where Ether was. And but the Turtle Rock play, so where the mitts were, it made sense to go to Death Mountain when you're right there.
Yes, absolutely.
And then I full clear Death Mountain, there was nothing, and I was like, well, that's a little odd. Let me going to Turtle Rock because if Turtle Rock's not the answer, then the only reason that you need to come to Death Mountain is to beat the game and do Hera, which was a little weird for me to think of it like that. So I was thinking if Flute's in Turtle Rock, I'm probably going to be ahead because I know Hacksaww generally likes to play a little safer.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And once you were done with Laser Bridge, how did that feel?
I mean, it was like, all right, this didn't work. Let's go back to Swamp Palace and do what I was going to do if I didn't find Glove where I found it.
Okay, so going back to that original routing,
which was do the digging game, do K45, do all the way around.
Yep. So you just did that in reverse, which is totally great.
Yeah.
And led you to that flute, that go mode flute,
and the Ether on Bombos tablet, which was
true. That's
a nice bonus. I was hoping it was there and that Hacksaww would have forgot about it if he found early flute, but it turns out he didn't find it.
No, he managed to find Ether before entering Swamp Palace, but he still did Swamp Palace before finding the flute.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. And here we are for Hacksaww. He's actually in the last phase again, and he does have to do 12 spins because he never found those silver arrows in Bob's chest in Ganon's tower.
That's the Dark Magician routing.
That's exactly right. That's actually bought him a bit of time.
And he does have the fire rod though, which lets you get 3 spins in instead of 2 with the lamp. So that's a little bit more convenient.
You can actually
have magic. Where do you find that?
He does have half magic. But you can actually do 3 spins with the lamp. It's just tighter. Also, he has to be well positioned.
Yeah, if I was in this situation and doing Silverless, my Silverless isn't perfect, so I tend to use the lamp and go for 2s instead of 3s.
So, here we go. Hacksaww spinning one last time, taking out Ganon. All he has to do is cross that bridge, and he finishes his seat as well. Ladies and gentlemen of the chat, children of all ages, and slimes, for some reason now, please put your GGs in the chat for Hacksaww. He performed wonderfully. So just for those sticklers who love to know the final times, NYRambler did finish with 144.56, and Hacksaww finished with a 149.25. GGs to the both of them. And we are actually already joined up with Hacksaww. Hacksaww, GGs.
Yo, GGs. GG Grambler. Grats on you, dude.
Yo, it was a great set between the two of us. We said going in when we found out we were paired. I was like, we're gonna end up going to 3 in both matches. We're gonna meet up. We're gonna go to 3. We're gonna meet up again in the wild card. We're gonna go to 3. We play a lot in the this time period races on SG.
This was game 6 between the two of you, right?
Yes, we're I'm 4-2 against them now because I beat them 2-1 both times.
Oh, wow. But here we are.
Yeah, most of them were close. The last race was a little bit not so close. One of us made a tragic mistake.
The only not close races were game 3 of the first set and game 2 of the second set. Those are the only ones that weren't close.
You changed back from fast Ganon to defeat Ganon, which was the correct play to make, and it did catch you up quite a bit on time. It made it closer.
Yeah, I practiced a lot of NMG, so it's like I get in NMG, I forget that I'm playing rando and just start doing NMG things.
I called it too. He could have switched back to NMG and GT. Okay, I'm kidding. But yes, indeed, doing GT, putting that back in was a smart play for you. Your execution is superior to Rambler's. Not to say Rambler isn't already great, but it is superior. You can save a few seconds in every room. But fortunately, this was not your race. Actually, I was curious too, because I asked Rambler the question already, but what made you go into Turtle Rock? Hacksaww.
Well, it was there. There's stuff there.
Excellent answer. Excellent answer. See, I knew it. I knew it.
That's
completely different answers.
You're never going to have a better time than Turtle Rock. You have 5 items sitting in there. 6 items. You have potentially 6. 5 or 6. And it's right there. You're looking for 1, maybe 2 more items. I mean, it's the best chance to go to Turtle Rock. We both made the same play because it was our first time up to Death Mountain. So.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we can get everything but the boss at that point. We don't have to beat it. So it grabbed 5. It's at least 5 things with Mimic Caves. So it's kind of worth a dip. And how many times Has anybody here played a Rando Seed? And there's something in Pendant Turtle Rock.
What? Never
no.
happens.
Hacksaww, you had my favorite moment of the race, where like 40 minutes in, you see the gloves up on bumper ledge, and you just try to lift the rock, and it's like, why can't I lift this rock yet?
I mean, I did that also.
Oh yeah, they both did that.
I was like, oh sweet, my power glove. Oh.
Yeah, you could feel it more on Hacksaw's side, like just pulling it.
Mhm.
I was in one
actually,
pool and I was like, all right, I can't get that yet, and then I went back to my routing.
I'm changing my favorite moment. Hacksaww, coming out of Ice Palace, did you just not want items anymore?
Yeah. Well, I knew there was a dude there that would eat my shield, and yeah, nature was calling.
Yeah, I figured that's what happened, but I wanted to be.
Hacksaww does warn people when he races that his platter's not the best.
Yeah. I feel for you, Hacksaw. I am the exact same way. Though usually I tend to go when it's either a tile room or a medallion activating. I would recommend that.
You know how mad I was when the second item dropped off a mold orm?
Oh, I know. It's always like, oh, damn, I needed to go to the basement.
It was great. Our tracker even removed the shield from your inventory.
Shields are overrated. Nobody needs those.
Oh yeah. Well, mirror is kind of nice and nifty. I mean, you can shine stuff on it.
I wouldn't have
but it
minded
lags the
getting
game.
bonked by the LED, but yeah, maybe that's why my execution was poop in GT. That's my outline.
Oh, you were burdened by the mirror shield. You're right.
Yeah, that's 100% it.
Yep. That is fair.
I just don't practice strategies enough. My practice is like casual races.
Yes, you've been practicing casual races. Real life's been kind of kicking me in the face lately, so here and there I practice segments of NMG, so that's about all I've got.
By the way, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but they one of our runners, Brewers fan JP, he went in and he looked up the listed MG times of every runner in a tournament that's done an MG time, and I'm last.
Okay.
So I have the worst recorded NMG time among all the players here. But I mean, because I don't have the patience for NMG, I just play rando. I enjoy it. But I know I'm better than a 149. I do know that.
Hey, we have some puzzle solvers, and they love that rando, and we have some speedrunners who love that consistency of NMG. And sometimes they cross over. And we have like Andy and Christos.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just talking to you the other day, Rambler, you didn't have the highest expectations for this race, but you pulled out the win. You get the advance to top 64, which will be announced soon.
Tentatively, I think I'm gonna get dunked on by another German, but we'll talk about that later. It was Gem earlier. Now it's probably gonna be Ayayoshi.
I would not be able to tell you.
I've been doing some maths in the background.
You've been doing some math?
Yeah.
I can look at preliminary numbers, but they're not official.
The extremely unofficial unoficials.
It would be unofficially Ayayoshi. Unofficially.
Yeah, that's what I'm pretty sure it is too.
Yeah.
Like I said, dunked on by Germans. I'm used to that happening to me in Randomizer.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I'm looking at the unofficial official ones, not the unofficial unofficial ones.
Oh,
so
okay.
we're just waiting to double check the map. Everything is fine. But yeah, we will post an announcement very soon in the Discord to proceed to the bracket stage. We're just going to go over the map one more time. Everything should be perfect. And then we'll post an announcement. And then we'll be able to move on to the next stage of brackets, where you will see more racing from NYRambler. And hopefully next year we will see more from Hacksaww.
Oh yeah, I'll be back next year.
Oh, you better be. You were so good at this. I was like, oh my god, this is Hacksaww, and I'm commentating his race.
Yeah, Hacksaw's
I'm
really
not that
strong
good.
runner.
Come on.
I mean, you do have a fan base. I mean, it's consistent of me, and I'm going to say tier here.
Absolutely.
There we go.
There was one other person in chat which said, I'm here for Hacksaww. So there's three right there.
There. See? Big fan base.
Here's how you know I'm not that good at randomizer. People people commend me more on my commentary than my gameplay. That's when you know.
That's true. Most people in chat were saying, I thought Rambler was going to be on comms. Why is he playing? I didn't know he even raced.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So
I thought this was Hacksaww v. Rywek tonight.
Okay.
Anyway, I was gonna say, any final tourney thoughts, Hacksaww, before we wrap it up?
I just want to say a big thank you to everybody to put all this together and everybody that's been putting on it all work. You know, the restreamers, trackers, commentary, all the organizers, everybody keeping track of everything. You guys do an awesome job. You guys don't get enough thanks. We do appreciate it. It's awesome to have this every year. So yeah, thanks to all you guys.
Well, you're on behalf of the admins. We thank you. We thank you for participating. We will look forward to next time you participate. As for everybody in chat as well, you better participate next year, everyone. And NYRambler, do you have any final words before we close down this stream?
Oh no, just a shout out to everybody putting us involved. Ryback, one of the admins of the tournament, doing a great job. Everyone no one's getting paid for this other than maybe Synac. But
That's fair.
I'm joking. No one's getting paid. But yeah, we're just put on a great show for you guys. That's all we do. That's what we do.
Mm-hmm. So,
I think he pays you guys at this point because, like, you guys always hype him up.
The dude deserves it.
Yes.
This has got to be like a sponsored spot.
Maybe. But I would like to say to all our viewers in the chat, please follow our runners. The links are right there. It is twitch.tv/NYRambler. Also, twitch.tv/Hacksaww with 2 W's. So please follow them. Follow also my co-commentator, Tiru. His Twitch ID is Tiru Riku. And over on the tracking side, we have Mr. Broadstone. Oh, he's silent, but like he's an impressive person. Honestly, he's awesome, Mr. Broadstone.
Yeah, I'll add my thanks to the runners as well. It was a joy to commentate the last group stage race. This was a lot of fun. Give them a follow. Mr. Broadstone doing an amazing job tracking, keeping us honest. And it's been a pleasure to come with you, Rywek. It was a really fun evening.
It was a pleasure. And we look forward to seeing you all in the next edition of A Link to the Past Randomizer. Next stage, brackets. Good night, everybody.
See you then.